Hello everyone, this is author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horne. And I'm bringing you a video tonight titled, Sexually Attractive Men Are the Identifiable Object of Women's Lust. It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life. In addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available on my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And to continue to push me up the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. But let's get right to it. Sexually attractive men are the identifiable object of women's lust. And the premise of this video is that all of her previous experiences are forgotten. They're extinct. She's in full recognition of who you are. All of her previous experiences are forgotten. You are the object of her lust and desire. That is the premise. And so when I speak of sexually attractive men, and they're the identifiable object of women's lust, I mean just that. If you listen to me long enough, it's self-explanatory in terms of the exactness of what I'm saying. Because you've worked on yourself, you don't care about what society says about you. You've tuned into the best that you've been given in terms of your gifts, talents, abilities. Your unique way and perspective that you see the world. Everything that is hand delivered to you by God. You, in terms of attributes and gifts, your advantages, your decided advantages that you've been given. You're sold on them. You don't care about what the society said, your mother, your father, your teacher. You don't care about what anybody says you should be. You're completely in tune and accepting of yourself. In tune with and accepting of yourself. By virtue of that, you're giving the world your best. You're giving life your best. Life is giving you your best in return. Not just beautiful women are offering themselves to you. Everything that is of a match to the man that you've become is making itself readily available to you and accessible to you. You've graduated. And you know you graduated to that level because everything continuously offers itself to you on that level. That's the sexually attractive man right there. He's completely sold on himself. He has a certain proposition that he's made with himself. Consequently, he lives a life of elevation, okay? And when a woman comes across that man, you are the object of her lust and desire. You're the identifiable object of her lust and desire. And it's nothing, see, once you get there, that's why so many men's mind have to catch up once they work on themselves and they continue to work on themselves and they dedicate themselves and they're steady, because the things that are coming to them are not in alignment with the things that previously came to them. So a lot of men elevate and then their mind has to catch up. Why? Because life has given them exactly what they've become. And it's been doing that the entire time, but they can't track their elevation, and so they don't think that they can deserve the new phase of life and the elevated things that life is offering to them. But once you get there, this is what's coming. It's really that simple. This is what's coming. Women are going to identify you. There will be a red beam of lust coming from their eyes. It will be an unsuspended gaze, and the woman is going to create a sexual situation with you. It's really that simple. You're the identifiable object of her lust. Once a woman identifies you, it's over. There's nothing else to be said. She's just there to be experienced. And I can remember back, some years ago, not too long ago, and I was in a shopping center close to where I live, and I had just pulled in, and I was going towards my store that I was going to for that day, and I passed, kind of like saw my rear view when I came to the stop sign. I saw a red bone with a fat ass, and she was young. So you know me, I bust that U-turn, and she was on the phone walking to her car, and I caught up with her right as she got to her car. Rolled my window down, and it helped. I'm not gonna lie to you, it definitely helped to catch her attention. I'm up in the black S550 Benz. I'm doing well, and I'm looking right. So I pull up on her. She's on the phone, but she bends down when I roll the window down, and we start talking. And I'm like, hey, what's your name? Blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And she hasn't quite gotten off the phone, but she's giving me her attention. And then I'm like, hold up, let me get out this car. And so I get out, I open the door, I get out the car, and that day all I had on, I had slimmed down a little bit, I had lost some weight, and I had on like a H&M shirt, but it was really tight. You know, it was kind of like a deep cut in the neck, probably some skinny jeans and just some Nikes. Like nothing out of this world, but you know, me being tall, I know my best look, and that was it. The slim fit, you know. And once I got out the car, and I walked around, and she walked around, we kind of met like in front of my trunk, more towards the passenger side of my car. She says, "Oh my God," the exact words that came out of her mouth. "Oh my God." And then she just dropped the phone. I mean, she just dropped her hand, you know, phone still. I don't know if she was still on the phone or what, but I just know that phone dropped. That phone was no longer a part of the equation. And, excuse me, I just got finished running. And she was just like, "Oh my God." She was like, "You look so good." And then all of her realities were suspended at that point. Her realities were suspended. And she point blank said, "Can I see you tonight?" She said it just like that. She said, can I see you tonight?" And then she thought about it. She's like, "Oh, I hope I'm not being too forward." And I was just like, no, it's okay. I said, "I want to see you tonight." And she's like, "Okay, well, I want to go home and I want to shower up and this and that. Then I won't come over." I was like, "Sure, yeah, I'm with it." And she did just that, you know, because she was actually coming out of a liquor store. And so she bought a little bottle, you know, we had a little something to drink, and it didn't take too much time. And you know, we got right to it. But she was talking to me, and she was explaining how she was living with her boyfriend, and she was holding her boyfriend down, like, you know, she was making the majority of the money, and they, you know, didn't live that far away from me. And that her boyfriend, for whatever reason, like, broke up with her. And I mean, she was a pretty little young red bone, wavy hair, like, you know, you better think about this shit, you know, because them savages are coming, you know, as soon as you let that shit go, man. So, you know, so she had been exploring, and she was telling me about the guy on her job that's been trying to fuck her, and she was like, but I've been loyal to my boyfriend, even though I'm attracted to that guy on my job. And she was telling me about 50 swinging dicks that was trying to fuck her. But when she saw the man that she wanted, she identified him. And that's what you have to understand about becoming a sexy, attractive man. You're an identifiable object of her lust and desire. That's why it's very important to become that man. Push the boundaries of everything that you've been given, everything that life has dealt you, and see what comes back. Just push the boundaries. Don't sit here and look at me like I'm crazy or I have certain advantages because I'm tall and all that shit. No, I just came from the treadmill before I made this video. I'm going to run 15 to 20 miles this week, like I do every week. I don't just rely on certain attributes, because you have to be your absolute best if you want the best to come back in return. You can't rely on the advantages that you've been given. You have to better those advantages until you're presenting an absolute masterful version of yourself to life and to the world every day. How else do you think women are supposed to identify you as their object of lust and desire? It doesn't work that way where you just show up. It doesn't work that way. You have to give life something to work with. And that's the point of me making this video. But she told me about all the guys that she was considering, because now she was open again. It had been years since she had sex with another man, so she told me. And she was considering all these guys, but once she saw me, it was a very short conversation that she had within herself. I was immediately identified. And she chose to move it forward with me. That's what she chose to do. And so that's the whole point of what I'm saying. See, it doesn't take any delays for a woman to identify you. She doesn't ask for offerings when you are the offering. When you're the object of a woman's lust and desire, all she wants to do is not deprive herself of experiencing you. You're the offering. And that's how you know you have a woman in a suspended state. She doesn't introduce any leverage. She doesn't introduce any bullshit. She doesn't try to posture herself above you. She just offers herself to you. And she doesn't just offer herself to you. She creates a sexual situation. Because all of these women communicate the same when you're the object of her lust and desire. When you're the identifiable object of her lust and desire. Her language was, I want to immediately come and see you. I hope I'm not being too forward. Her language. And so they express their lust because they can't contain themselves. And then they follow that up with creating a sexual situation. That's when you've been identified. And once you've been identified by enough women, any woman offering you a subpar proposition to get into her space, you laugh in her fucking face. Because you have enough reference points of, this is not my norm. This is not my reality. This is not my best experience. Go back to wherever you came from. But the only way you can speak to women that way is when you graduate. Becoming a sexually attractive man is graduation, because there was a hell of a lot of work that it takes to become that man. But once you get there and you continue to put the work in, you solidify your space in the realm of being the sexually attractive man. And so it's normal for things like that to happen to you, because you've exhibited an abnormal amount of work on yourself. And so their language is the same. I hope I'm not being too forward. I can even think back to it was a lot of young, beautiful women, I can think about in my life, even my last girlfriend, who was significantly younger than me. That's how it happened for us. I met her, we exchanged numbers, and as soon as I got in my car, she's like, I hope I'm not being too forward, but I want to see you. See, when women lust you, they communicate at the same frequency and pitch. Their language is the exact same. So you're going to find some of these women saying the same exact phrases. I hope I'm not being too forward, which means I'm not going to deprive myself of experiencing you. I would not think to introduce some bullshit into this equation because I have to experience you. I hope I'm not being too forward. And then their actions, they create a sexual situation. I want to see you. The same language, the same pitch, the same communication pitch. They all communicate that way. And as a sexually attractive man, you're not intertwining with women who aren't communicating at that pitch. And it doesn't matter who approaches who, because regardless of whether you approach her or she approaches you, the only thing that matters is that once she has a chance to lay her eyes on you, that there's a red beam of lust coming from her eyes. It means her reality is suspended. She's in the space of the man that she lusts and desire. She's in a suspended state. And those are the women who just choose you. They identify you, and they have to consume you. And those are the women that you want to deal with, but you have to undertake a serious and steady amount of work on yourself to develop your best and give your best on a consistent basis. I promise you, this is waiting for you. And get with me for coaching if you want to know how to unlock that side of yourself. But this is not a delayed proposition that I'm speaking of. See, if a woman has to identify you in a delayed fashion, that means that she's just tolerating you. She either tolerates you or she lusts you. There's no in between. The worst thing that you could do is to get with a woman who you have to grow on. She will always be dissatisfied because she will be trying to compensate and trying to figure out why she cannot get to a state of lust with you, even though she wants to because you're a good man. But nature cannot be influenced. Nature must be observed. And if nature understands that people who are sexually attracted to each other are predetermined to procreate with each other, then nature is not to be interfered with. And once you accept a woman who has a delayed reaction or delayed realization of who you are interfering with nature. You're supposed to deal with the women who have the immediate recognition of who you are. And that's how you can stay together, because she innately desired you. Nature overtook her. Her God imperative was activated. And I'm going to make a video about that. But that's when you're her first choice. When the red beam of lust is nature operating through her and suspending all of her other realities. That's what a red beam of lust is. She's in a suspended state. She's left this earthly world and she's in tune with her godly imperative and her highest imperative to reproduce. That's what the lust is. You're so goddamn sexy, I want to have your children. That's what the red beam of lust is. She doesn't even know where it comes from, but she enjoys when it elicits and emits from her eyes. She loves it because she doesn't get to inhale men like that in her presence very often. So you have to become the departure of the man. And so the worst thing that you can do is as a woman that realizes you in a delayed fashion. That's the worst thing that you can do. Introduce a story of Steph Curry, the best three-point shooter of all time. His wife is continuously going on interview after interview after interview talking about how she never wanted to marry this guy. never wanted to be married, never wanted to have children. A part of her feels lost, meaning that she feels trapped because she didn't get to be herself that she wanted to be. And see, I had to dissect these interviews. I had to listen to both accounts of their stories. Steph Curry talks about Ayesha Curry like he's forever going to be in love with her and it was love at first sight. There's no interferences when it comes to the lust, love, and desire that he has for his wife. But see, that's the scary part about dealing with a woman who doesn't lust and desire you as soon as she meets you. At best, you can check some of her boxes. But once that man accepts that and he views her as his first choice, she checked all his boxes. And so the desire is mismatched and the end is inevitable. So in walks Ayesha Curry, and she's talking about how discontent she is, and she never thought that Steph would be this big star, and she thought that she would be the leading the leading person in the relationship, the more recognizable entity. See, let's just examine how this happened, right? So Steph Curry, when he met Ayesha, like, he wasn't really Steph Curry yet. He was definitely the shit with the basketball in North Carolina, but she wasn't really tuned into that. And so when he got to Davidson, he really took off. But they, like, Steph had a crush on her in high school, and she kind of like saw him like on some friend zone type shit. And Steph talked about how they came back together at the ESPYs, those ESPN awards, right? And how she was there. She probably barely got in there somehow, but she was like a up and coming nobody actress, and Steph was the greatest scorer in college that year. So of course the ESPYs, the ESPN awards, had to invite Steph to the party. Yeah, you're coming to the ESPYs. We're inviting you, front row seat. And so she ran into him and likely went back to her people and was just like, yo, I haven't seen Steph in a while, but Steph is, oh my God, like, he about to go to the NBA. Like, ESPN invited him. Like, this dude is for real. This was a part of him that she never even knew existed. And so everyone in her camp more than likely was like, that's the best you're ever going to get. You better not let him go. And he was already smitten from day one. And so they entered an uneven exchange. And we're seeing the fallout of the uneven exchange right now. With Steph, all he can do is sing her praises. And all she can do is speak of her discontentment with being with one of the most successful black men on the planet. Because lust and desire is not influenced by looks, money, and status. All of the things that these goofy ass dating coaches will tell you means something, means absolutely nothing. Means absolutely nothing. Women are governed by lust and desire. And so if you have to grow on a woman, then that is the evidence that you are not her first choice. And the cycle of a woman that you have to grow on is, yeah, she might accept your marriage proposal, but you're checking some of her boxes and she's checking all of your boxes. And see, there's really no surprises. That's why these men end up getting divorced. And I have to make a video about this, about sexually attractive men, rarely get divorced. I'm going to something along those lines, because a sexually attractive man knows what it looks like to be desired in an unsuspended state. So, like, Steph Curry had the signs of knowing Ayesha and her interest not being what his is, but all of a sudden he's on the verge of becoming rich, and then her interest, quote unquote, increases. No, the opportunity to be set for the rest of her life was apparent. And so nothing good comes from having a woman that you have to grow on. Nothing good comes from that, because you can't interfere with nature. Nature will always prevail. That's why 80% of women initiate divorces, because nature always prevails. People want what they want. And if you don't have a value proposition with yourself in terms of wanting yourself, you're susceptible to being with a woman who doesn't want you. You can't have a parceled out desire for yourself and expect a full recognition and desire for you from a woman. Until you come into the fullness and the wholeness of loving yourself and desiring yourself, you won't have a reference point to understand when a woman doesn't lust and desire you, because you don't desire yourself. See, it's an amazing thing being a man who's desired himself, you can see a lot. You can see a whole lot. I'm essentially the divorce whisperer. I see women, and I see how they communicate with their husbands, and these are men close to me. And I can hear words that let me know that these guys are on borrowed time. And every time I hear the words, a year or two later, they're divorced. But it's not my place to tell these men because they have to go through their cycle. They have to go through their full season so that they can learn their adequate lessons. I'm not going to interfere with what nature is trying to teach them. Because if you disobey nature, then nature has to teach you. Because nature will always prevail. And I can hear, I've heard women say things to my good friends, oh, I'm not always attracted to my husband. I'm like, what the fuck? There's no way a woman is married to her first choice and can utter some shit like that out of her mouth. Because if a woman thinks her man is really attractive, if she says something like that, that's a dog whistle to other women that he's open. And if a woman is married to her first choice, she's not going to do anything to open her man up to other women. So women say outrageous shit, but these men, they can't even pick up on the communication pitch of what their woman is saying because they don't understand what their woman is saying, because they don't know what it's like to be desired, because they don't desire themselves. They think eating shit and women disrespecting them, women talking crazy, they think that shit is normal. They think that women telling them that they're not desirable, they think it's normal because they're not desirable to themselves. You can't have an intermittent desire for yourself that's here today, gone tomorrow, and think a woman is going to fully desire you. It doesn't work that way. When you become a man, the only way that pairing yourself with a woman really works is that you have to be the identifiable desire of her lust, the identifiable object of her lust, man. Other than that, you don't know all sides of women. And you're food out here if you don't know all sides of women. So I'm around these men and I can hear them say certain things. I can hear women say, oh, my friends say I'm missing out on this and I'm missing out on that. And they're married to my homeboys. I'm like, are you serious? My man made all these sacrifices for you, got you in this big ass house, making more than double your salary, and you letting your friends tell you that you're missing out on the streets? And you verbalize this shit? And I'll be like, all right, well, she's already out the door. The same way I can interpret what Aisha Curry is saying. These women are already out the door. They just haven't physically left. And that's what I could identify in my friends, is when the women were already out the door before they physically left, but it wasn't my place to say anything. But it wasn't a surprise when they told me, yeah, it's over. But see, I could see it because I made a decision to desire myself. And you would not be the identifiable object of women's lust and desire until you learn to desire yourself. Until you learn to observe and to develop your best and to make the observations of what the best looks like coming back to you in return by virtue of the man that you become. That's when you become the sexy, attractive man with the optic and the eye to only identify women who identify you. To only interact with women who identify you. The men around you are not supposed to understand this communication pitch because they don't have the reference points of becoming the sexy, attractive man. You're in two different worlds and universes. You in no way, shape, or form give a woman an opportunity to have a delayed understanding of or delayed realization of desire for you, because you understand that is a representation of chaos to come. You only deal with women who give you that immediate invitation into their space through lust, through desire, because you know, because you have the reference points, because you become a man that's had the continuum of experiences that's all you'll deal with is women who immediately identify you. Men are not supposed to understand this because you all are in two different realms. Most men, they're in the realm of subservience to their woman because they think women are more valuable than them. That Puthi is more valuable than that Daki that he has to offer to her. He has not taken inventory. He has not developed himself that he knows that he is an impactful force that's going to elevate the space in the life of any woman that he enters. He doesn't see himself that way. He doesn't desire himself. But when you desire yourself, you operate from that vantage point. And so if you know that you can enhance her life by virtue of your presence, there's no way in hell you're going to value her above yourself. And so what women are you going to deal with? When you understand who you are, and women, beautiful women, have communicated with you at that communication pitch of, oh my God, I hope I'm not being too forward. They all talk the same, man. And become the man when you understand the communication pitch, and you can never settle for anything less than that pitch. It's really that simple. So your wheelhouse, the place where you dwell when it comes to women, are women who identify you as a sexy, attractive man who is the object of her lust. You're immediately identified as the object of her lust. Those are the only women you deal with. This has been Matthew C. Horne, author, motivational speaker, and dating coach. Just bring you a video tonight talking about sexy, attractive men are the identifiable object of women's lust. It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to push me with the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. I hear you all in the comments. You all want me to talk about particular topics. This is called a custom video. If you want me to make a video on your proposed topic, it costs $150 because I'm good at this and I'm fast too. Okay, if you want me to make a video on a particular topic, you make a donation of $150 or more to my PayPal and my Cash App information that's in my video description. Leave on the note feature on PayPal and Cash App after you make your donation. Leave on the note feature on PayPal and Cash App the title of the video, the topic of the video that you want me to talk about. And I'll make your video on your custom topic and have it on my channel in 24 hours or less. If your video is more nuanced, if your topic is more nuanced than just leaving a note on PayPal or Cash App, then I want you to make a donation of $150 or more on PayPal and Cash App. Bypass that note, email me at matthewchorne.com with your more nuanced description of what you want me to make your video on, and your video will be on my channel in 24 hours or less. I'm very fast over here. If you've been inspired, if you've been enlightened, and you're better for having heard my message in this video, I want you to make a donation to my PayPal or my Cash App information that's in my video description. I never take a donation for granted, and your donations continue to help me to elevate and grow and move forward as I continue to help you to elevate, grow, and move forward by bringing you this elevated game. If you're in need of coaching, if you have challenges, disappointments, frustrations in the dating space, and you've been unable to overcome them, then I want you to email me at matthewchorne.com. Leave coaching in the subject matter of the email, and leave your name, your phone number, and whatever issues and impediments and challenges that you're facing in the dating space. I'll do an assessment and I'll email you right back with the terms of the coaching. Once you accept the terms, we set the date and time, and coaching will commence. These 1-hour dating coaching sessions with me are life-changing. If you have challenges, you have frustrations, you have impediments, I promise you, you will overcome to get that 1-hour coaching from me. I'm still looking for to fill the remaining slots of the 5 individuals who want the year-long coaching journey with me. What a year-long coaching journey with me looks like is 3 coaching calls per week, minimum. 24-hour access to me. If you're in a situation with a woman, you're about to go on a date, you met a woman on a dating app, a woman that's switching up on you that you like, that you've been dealing with, I'm your coach 24 hours a day. Text, phone call, email, reach out to me, and I will get back to you if I don't pick up that phone. I'm yours 24 hours a day. That's why I can only take on 5 people. That's a lot of bandwidth right there. That's a lot of access for you to have to me. In addition to that, I'm going to do an assessment of exactly where you are in terms of where you are in the dating space and in life, and then you're going to tell me where you want to be. And you're going to do that in the initial email, and I'll get to that. And there will also be life coaching integrated into this, because you have to become a particular type of man to grace the stages that you see yourself gracing. In addition to that, in addition to the life coaching, I'm going to meet up with you in person no matter where you are in the world one time. Everyone who gets this coaching program, I meet up with them no matter where they are in the world. You come to me, I come to you, we're going to set it up. Okay? And I get to coach you in person. I only coach you in person once you've been on my coaching program, and I can start to see your growth and your thought process elevate. Then I can trust that you're making progress, and I can show up in person and coach you and assess you. We can go out together. at bars, clubs, whatever we need to go where the women are, and then I can see you in person and assess you in person. It's a very personal space. It's something very personalized that I created. That's why I can only take on 5 people. And so what I want you to do, if you want a year-long coaching journey with me, I want you to email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. Leave mentorship in the subject matter of the email. In the body of the email, you leave your name, your phone number, and you're going to tell me exactly where you are in the dating space, and you're going to tell me exactly where you want to be in the dating space. And once you get that year's worth of coaching from me, I'm going to surpass where you want to be. You're going to become an unrecognizable new man with an undeniable trajectory and elevation in life. Nothing like it, man. Get with me for that year-long coaching program. I'm here for you. Lastly, my dating coaching community on a school platform. I want everyone to join. In my dating coaching community, you get 2 exclusive videos every week that are just for the community. These are topics and videos that I make just for the community that are not on YouTube. I allow members of the community to give me topics, and I make videos on their topics, in addition to introducing my own unique subject matter that elevates the men in the community through videos. Every video that I've made in the community is archived, and then we have a once-a-week Zoom call where I do a monologue on a particular topic, and then the members of the community on the Zoom call are allowed to interact with me. We just have a discussion on the topic, and then once we're done discussing the topic, the men in the community get dating coaching from me on the spot for an hour every week. You can ask me whatever you want to ask me. And so every Zoom call that we have is archived in the community as well. There's dozens of videos that you can watch and catch up on. I have different specialized series, Becoming a Sexually Attractive Man. And I have a series that I'm going to be completing this week in the group called Club Nights, man. It's nothing like it. Join my community, get exclusive access to me every week, and go through the catalog of elevated messages that are exclusively just for the community. I've enjoyed spending some time with you all tonight. And just remember that sexually attractive men are the identifiable object of her lust. If she doesn't immediately identify you, it just doesn't make sense once you become the sexually attractive man. If dealing with women past them identifying you and accepting that maybe outgrowing her, you're setting yourself up for chaos, because she will check out when she comes across her first choice. You're either her first choice or you're a naive simp, because there's no way that you can understand the full scope of women and how they move and their language and their movements when they are in the space of the man that they truly desire, that they've identified as the object of their lust and desire. So don't sit on the sidelines. Undertake the work. Get coaching from me if necessary. Optimize yourself. Reinvent yourself. Give the world your best, and you'll be surprised at what comes back in return. It's a great experience to understand it every day that you can wake up, and that more than likely, you're going to be the object of some woman's identifiable lust and desire. It's really that simple, man. See y'all soon.